Hello.
Evening, chaps.
Good evening.
Evening.
Evening, Matt. How's it going, Paul? You okay?
Yeah, really good, mate. To you?
Oh, yeah, it's great to be back. Honest to God, it seems like I've been away for ages and ages, you know. I know it's only a couple of weeks, but something to look forward to this, you know, every Friday and stuff. And it's when I can't do it because of work, it just pees me off, you know, but it is what it is. There's nothing I can do. You know what I mean? But yeah, it's great to be back and seeing the I've just been having a quick look at who's in the house and the usual crew at all in, which obviously appreciating a couple of people who I've not seen before, so that's really good. But yeah, Jay's just contacted us. He's having a few connection problems with his camera, so he will be joining us at some point, but you know, don't know when. It should be recently. I reckon it'll be fairly quick. Jay's usually pretty good with all sort of stuff, so unlike me, you know what I mean. So
it's probably choosing what leggings he's putting on, Steve. To be fair,
it's true.
Yeah, or changing the bulb out of his thing to stop him making it look like Bart Simpson. How about that? He might put a white bulb in instead of a yellow bulb. You never know, but we'll see how it goes. But anyway, first things first, as we always do, is customary. Let's see who's in the house. And first on the board today was Tony. Evening, Tony. Hope you're well, mate. I'll come back to your comment in a minute, mate. I'll just go through the list. Cottage Reef. Evening, Cotter. Mark Temple. Never seen Mark in the house before, but thanks for joining us, mate. He's also said if anyone needs any 3D printed parts, let him know. And he'll give a few free ones out so you can see how good they are. Really appreciate it. I'm sure everybody does, mate, as well. Appreciate you joining in. Skids, as always. Our good friend John. Evening, John. Oli Fins is in the house. Techers Reef. I'll come back to the comments. Chris is in. UKM 120, as always. Mickey Boy is in, as always. Stuart. Darren, evening Darren, Drippy, Reef Geek, love this guy, always in the house. Collegiate Swimmer, evening, and Haley Bar, evening Haley, and Haley F is in the house straight from the get-go, so appreciate that. NG Reefer, Darren McGinty. Anyone there? Can you hear me? Hey, I'm getting on top of this now, mate. I've not said that for a while, so
spot on this evening.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, spot on. I'm not going to move, mate. I'll stay in this position, so I don't have to move. Yeah, we don't. Got good Wi-Fi here. We've paid the bill. Anyway, Reef 216. Evening, Reef 216. Critical Reef. Marek P. Evening, Marek. And I think we are up. Oh, and how can we forget Trevor? Evening, Trevor. Hope you are well. Critical Reef has just said that they've got to go out. Just wanted to check in. I'll catch up on the stream either later tonight or tomorrow at work. Have a good one. You too, my mate. Hope you, whatever you're doing, hope you're well. Anyway, go straight to the top. Tony's put, Steve, he called into the out of the blue Marines today. Great setup. Raw a toxic Kenya tree. Yeah, to be fair, I mean, it's my local fish shop out of the blue. And they went through a little patch, obviously, where it was a bit quiet and they was only getting, you know, the basic stuff and stuff like, you know, in there. It was tough. You know, remember we had the ban, didn't we, and stuff like that, so they couldn't get really good corals and stuff in there, yeah. But now they've gone on to another level. Some of the corals that they've got in that shop now is like on another planet. It's like crazy. They've got some shipments in and stuff like that. But I went in there the other week and they had some really out of this world corals, torches. They was getting a tiger torch in as well this week at some point. Now, as you all know, I want a tiger torch, but I mean the crazy prices. But I said when I phoned up the other day, they'd not got them in. They're still not coming, so I'm still waiting on that. But he's gonna give me a bell, and I might call up and see what they're asking for it. You know what I mean? But yeah, I love a shop. You know what?
Steve, where you put it?
Well,
well, new tank.
Yeah, new tank.
I'm looking at your tank and I'm thinking, where the bloody hell are you going to
to get one, isn't it? Just turn up with it with the missus. I've got this.
Turn up with it, yeah. No, to be fair, I'm doing a bit of a clean out on it and all that. To be fair, but I am like as you all know, yeah. Me and the missus were talking over the past couple of weeks or so. I'm 100%. Unfortunately, as I say it as we speak, my tank will be down. It's completely gone. It's gone by the beginning of the new year. So come January, February, it's going to be gone. I'm going to my mate Scott, he's going to be looking after the prized ones that I'm going to keep, and then we're going to be getting on to Mick from NBM. He's going to be doing me a tank, and I've got something in mind which I think a lot of people are going to be shocked with what I'm going to go with. Yeah, but I'm not gonna say anything. But even Mick might even be shocked with it. To be fair, but it's going to look fantastic when it's in the house and when it's done. When the house is all decorated, it's going to look fantastic. And yeah, I just can't wait. You know, to get a new build up and running and stuff. No. I'm not going nano. I'm not going to have issues like Jill does with you, mate. No, I'm not having that. No. It's a bit bigger than nano, but yeah, it's going to be something different, and yeah, I think it'll look fantastic the way I'm going to go. I'm going to get a custom scape and stuff like that, and go all out for it. You know, do something different. I think with this one, but it is like I said, February, January. Well, February, March, it will be gone. The tank's going to have to come down because, like you said, she wants the house decorated. And when we thought about it, it's not even been painted and decorated for like 5 years. So I think it's about time now. You know what I mean? It's not fair. So I think that's what we're going to have to do. But yeah, it's gutting, in it. You know, when you see a tank and you're just devastated. Yeah.
When you're going to start breaking it down, Steve? Because it's going to take quite a while, won't it?
Well, this is it. I was thinking about yours, the way you did yours, where you broke it down slowly, you know, your large one, where you was taking corals out and stuff like that at a time. But then I thought to myself, if I do that, yeah, obviously with the swinging parameters that I'm going to get because I'm taking out, you know, like certain things, and then I'm going to have to be monitoring all my parameters, like my alkalinity, calcium, remember I'm dosing calquas or stuff like that. I've got to have to, and I don't want to risk any of my higher corals, you know, my really good corals that I want to keep. I don't want to risk them dying, you know what I mean? Because they could potentially die if I basically make a screw up of it, you know what I mean? So I don't know whether to either just call somebody in, you know, like an LFS store and say, look, do you want these corals, and do away with it all at once, or do like what you say, frag them all slowly, and then take them out and then sell and then trade them in at the store, because like Scott said, I could trade them in at store, yeah, and then anything I want to get, I get the store credit, and it's really just like having money, isn't it? You know what I mean? But in credit sort of thing, you know what I mean?
Well, you need it for when you start.
I really don't know what to do. Yeah. Exactly. So I really don't know which way to go, really, to be fair. But like, obviously, I was edging towards just selling it all at one point, you know, straight from the get-go, yeah? I think it'll be a lot easier. And like I said, I don't think I'll get as many swings because, as you know, the stuff I'm dosing and stuff, I just have to be on top of it. And with my job, you know what I mean?
You've got the KH.
I have, yeah.
So you can see how that's going, and then you can adjust your calc and everything, because you've got your doses, so you can easily see what the alk's doing and then just bring them down. And also, if you take out a big colony, I think the one I found that I was surprised at, which is not a surprise, as I was taking the big colonies out, the nitrates and the phosphates were moving up, which is not a surprise because they obviously soak up the nitrate and phosphate. When you've got big corals that are kind of a foot wide and a foot deep,
exactly,
they're going to suck up not just the alk on that, but it was going to take that. So I was surprised how much that was going up with. In terms of the rest of the stuff, I was able to balance that out. And whilst I did take it's one big colony at a time. So a big colony came out, see what was going on. Then I took something. I said it wasn't day after day. It was over a period of 2 months. And I think over that, if you're taking them out every 3 or 4 days, I remember I didn't have an out controller, or an out monitor. So I think
you got space to do a holding tank, Steve, anywhere in the house?
No, I haven't. No, that's the problem. If you came to my house, flipping it, your living room is probably the size of my whole downstairs. You know what I mean? So that's how small my it's the old like 1920s, you know, terraced house. That's what it is. It is.
Yeah.
This living room is like the set. My tank is actually right in the center of the house. You know what I mean? Against the main supported wall. So it is. It's only a small room, and because I thought about like where I had my little nano tank. Remember that little frag tank that I had, Paul? I was just gonna buy a cheap little, you know, like you say, holding tank, then stick me over corals in there. You know, the ones I'm gonna keep. I want to keep. Set it up. Not do it straight away, but like set it up. Get it cycled sort of thing. Get it all done because I've got loads of like bio balls. I can seed it with that bit of bacteria in there and get it going and do it that way. Yeah, and then just putting my corals in there and monitor them that way. But it's like my missus says, you know, it's just like the stuff. Then you've got to get into my fish room, which is at the side of that, and it's like leaning over. And she's like, "Yeah, but what happens if something happens? You know, like it cracks the tank." Which my kids are clumsy, to be fair, and they run in and out of that kitchen, especially with lad playing football, you know, in the garden and stuff. And I could understand what she was saying. So my mate Scott said, "Listen, whenever you're ready and you want the you know, your main ones, put them in my tank." And this tank's like, I've seen it. Well, he sent me a couple of pictures like it, and it's class. It's already class, you know what I mean? So and he knows what he's doing. Yeah, he knows what he's doing, Scott. So you know, I appreciate that. So I know the good corals that I want to keep, yeah, are going to be safe. You know what I mean? And I trust him. So that's the main thing. You know what I mean? But like you said, it is really just the stripping down of it. Really, to be fair, is like getting it all. And see what people want, you know what I mean? Because like you said, that style of pour is, like you said, Paul, is like at least a foot in diameter, you know what I mean, either side, you know. The other, so is Ceratopia, and I've got the same thing with the Maggie Torts, huge colonies. So yeah, it's a bit of a tough one, but it will be an upsetting day when I've got to strip it all down. But it has to go. There's no, I can't go any further with it. You know what I mean? Where do I go with it? It's just like you said, Paul. I can't fit another coral in there. You know what I mean? So I want another challenge now. I want to get going, start it up, get the house done, get it all decorated, get it all set, and then start on this new project that I want to achieve. And you know, the stuff that I can sell, like you said, it goes in credit towards the new tank.
I think it's a good idea. And then these things like your I can't remember the name of the big chalice that you've got. You either break that into big lumps and give that away, or the LFS can have it. And not all LFS want big pieces; they have to chop up themselves because not all of them have got the facilities to do that. Because they're gonna have to chop them up, they have to let them settle, so they need holding tanks themselves to be able to do it. So I know it's not for all LFS. I've got a couple around my way that they wouldn't take that. I'd have to chop them up, let them heal, and then take them in, and then I'd get cash from them. I do that from time to time. Whereas AAC, I can take a big old plating whatever in there, and they'll chop it up and give me store credit for it, or even put it in their DT in their display. So go on, Tom, you was going to say.
Yeah.
I was going to say, if you've got when you're saying you're going to do it February next year after Christmas.
It's going to be after Christmas. We're going to let the festivities settle down. February, March. Then I think I'm going to have to. That's when I'm going to be looking at it. You know,
you could do quite a bit of fragging, couldn't you, and let stuff settle?
Yeah.
Between now and then,
I could do. Yeah,
you don't have to be too aggressive. But you can, every penny helps when you're built doing these.
You have to get rid of some colonies.
You know what I mean?
Get rid of a couple of colonies, frag some other stuff, and put those in those places there, and then do it that way. Because then at least you get a couple of colonies, let it settle, sort out your parameters. Frag some other stuff, and then as you're getting rid of the frags, it won't come down as quickly.
That's what I'd do.
Do it that way. It's a fair point.
It's a fair point. It is. It's tricky, you know, when you're thinking, because I don't know. I mean, I don't know about you, but I know it's like it's a fair few months off yet that I'm thinking of doing it. But I'm already feel like it's going quick, but I'm already feel like emotional, you know, in a sense, because it's like been 5 years of my life. This, you know what I mean? It's 5 years, mate, of like tiny little flags, mate. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? You know, Tom, because you've been there. You know what I mean? By having tanks, and then you take them down, and you're like. And I feel, oh man, is it going to work out right? Am I doing the right thing? And this, that. But it's come to the point with this tank now. It's like where there's nothing I can do with it. It's just outgrown. It's just grown itself. It's done its thing now. You know what I mean?
If you get one of those money, if you get a money tin, Steve, that you can't see into, and you do some fragging Honestly, if you do a couple of rounds of fragging between now and Christmas, and you put it in, you don't see what you've got in it, and then you open it up in February. It's a nice surprise, isn't it? Towards some, I don't know, new power heads or whatever.
Yeah. Oh no, for sure. It's definitely it's all good. Like I said, everything I get from it is going to go into whatever my new tank is going to be. You know what I mean? And it's and the parts and the bits that I need. You know what I mean? It's all, everything is going to go into it. You know what I mean?
Let's be honest. You take that into a shop. Majority of the time, they're just going to do that. They're just going to cut it up. Not being horrible.
Of course they are. Yeah, of course.
So you may as well do it yourself. You may as well do it yourself and profit from it before you do that. Is all I'm saying.
Yeah. No, I agree. I agree.
Especially if it's in your water and it's stable.
Yeah. True. Yeah. It's a tough one, but I think, like you said, I think for me, it's just like a case of like once I start on it, I've got to get all the frag racks in the tank. You know what I mean? And as you know, I absolutely hate frag racks. You know, but it's gonna have to be the case. Because, like you said, I haven't got a separate tank.
But you think about how much money you've put into your tank. It's about time you got something out of it, is all I'm saying.
Oh, no, yeah, I agree, mate. Yeah, I agree. Totally agree. I mean, it's you see, I always look at it, you know, like with my tank. I mean, because bear in mind, I put the basic corals in my tank and I only put the basic corals in there because I was new to it. And I thought, is it going to work? Am I going to be successful? Is it going to be right? You know what I mean? And these things. And then when it's took off, so now like basic corals, that's why I used to just snap them and throw them in the graveyard at the back of the tank. Yeah, because it was like, people don't want these. But now when you look at corals and even stylopoda, little piece of stylo, they're going for stupid prices in some shops. You know what I mean? I'm like, I used to throw massive pieces of colonies of that away, mate. You know what I mean? And like you said, I should make some money on it. Should trade in and get some cash.
I think you should.
You know, from it.
You should.
Yeah, I should do. And
you've got the time, haven't you? It's not like some people have only got a short space of time from moving house or an upgrade or downgrade or whatever. You've got the time now to plan it.
Yeah.
And take your time with it. And if you can get a few £100 out of your tank, you're laughing.
Exactly. That's it. That's what I need. I definitely need to do that. I do. I'll contact the things and just say, look, I'm gonna have a shed full of frags and all that. And like you said, even if they give you, I don't know how much they give you, £5 a frag or whatever, it's better than nothing. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's better than nothing, isn't it? You know, so yeah, for sure. I will do that. I
mean, things like your Miyagi tool and stuff like that should go pretty easy because they're not that common, are they? I don't think you don't see many of them advertised, and they're lovely pieces as well.
Yeah,
some of the prices of them, mate. A little 1-inch frag, £25, £30, mate. I've seen them for a little tiny 1-inch frag. You know what I mean? It's like you said, that my guitar at the front of my tank there. That's just freaking growing insane.
But there's nothing worse than seeing frags that haven't settled either, Steve. If you can bring frags in and they're settled and they're based out and you can see and you can't see the frag plug, you know, winner, you know, as opposed to super glue, milliput, whatever. Because I'm always a bit cautious of that. Is it that they've been fragged or is it because the colony's stripping and they're trying to save it?
Yeah, I know what you mean. I'd rather than having a freshly one on the plug, I'd rather than I go around there, they snip a piece off and I take it off the colony.
Yeah,
stick it in a bag, and so either it's spaced out, even if it's spaced out a little bit, you know it's been there, not for a long period of time, but it's done something. If not, just snip it off. Because all I'm going to do, otherwise, I'm going to take it home and I'm going to take it off the frag plug anyway.
Yeah, I do.
So, I do. Just stress it once, pop it in a bag, and I'll take it home and I'll take the risk on that. I must admit, when I sell the SPS, like the Hystrix, I know the basic one, people come around, even the Chalice, they come around, I get the scissors, I cut the Chalice and say, there we go. I'll price accordingly because I just can't be asked to take stuff off, put it on frag plugs and everything else. So I'll sell them. I mean, someone, Tekker's Reef, I met him at AAC last week, getting a big old 3-inch piece of Hystrix. I broke it off that morning, threw it in the bag, and then he took it home for £10. So, I'll do that, Steve. It makes it a lot easier if someone does that with you because you ain't got to mess around then, have you?
No. Like I said, the only issue thing is like that's perfect if people are buying directly from you, coming to your house and stuff. But if you're taking it to an LFS store, they want them. They do want to.
Yeah,
sometimes they want them on frag plugs, but like I mean, obviously, I know a few people, Steve and stuff like that, and Becky, and I dare say if I turned around and said, look, I've got this colony of blah blah blah, yeah. Would you be interested in it? What will you give me? They might say, I'll give you £100 or whatever. We'll frag it. Then it's £100, like you said. Stick it in a tin, and it's good to go. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, it's better than throwing it, or better than not doing anything with it. You know what I mean? So yeah, I am gonna do something like that for sure. And like I said, get the ball rolling. I think, to be fair, because it does. The tank's getting on a bit now. Like I said before, in the past, it's 5.5 years old. It'll be, you know what I mean, 6 years in March. So I'm always wary about seals.
That's a good run, isn't it? Yeah,
it's a good run. It's a good run for the tank, to be fair. 6 years. So, and I don't want any issues. I mean, how can I put it? I suppose you could strip it and reboot it again, but why? I might as well just. I've got my mindset now when I thought about it, and I've sketched something on my pad of what I want my new tank to look like. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I'm thinking, and I took about an hour and a half sketching it, so I know what I want it to look like. You know what I mean? I know it. So now my heart is set on this.
It's like Tony Hart, isn't it?
Yeah, I know it was actually. To be fair, I really took the time with it. I actually used the ruler to draw the lines.
Tony Hart, and you've got Jay that's morph.
Yeah, I actually used the ruler to draw the lines rather than freehand. So that shows you how serious I was with this, mate. You know what I mean?
Oh, it's the ruler that does it, isn't it? Without that,
the ruler, mate. Hey, freehand is like doodling, in it. Yeah, you just like, I'll just doodle. Whereas a ruler, that means serious business. Yeah. So yeah, I was onto it, mate. So I've done that, and I'm happy. And I think the way we're gonna go is gonna look stunning, especially when the house is all decorated and all new laminated flooring all through the house. It'll look really good, to be fair. So I am excited, but I'm also gutted. You know what I mean? It's like the end of it, isn't it? You know what I mean?
It's a long time. But also, Steve, not many people have a tank running for that period of time, 5 years.
Yeah.
There's not many tanks. If you have a look on, it's hard to, on forums and stuff like that, isn't many people have it that long. And on YouTube, there's even less people on YouTube that have got anything running for a long period of time. I think that's a massive achievement to have a tank running for 5 years. And certainly how it looks now. I mean, one of the best tanks around, I would say, Steve. For sure.
Oh, I appreciate that. Yeah. I mean, considering, like you said, what I actually do with it, you know what I mean, which is very, very little, you know what I mean? People still can't believe, like, I don't do water change. They haven't done a water change in 5 years, they're just, like, blown away. Especially when they see it, they're like, how do you not do water changes? And it's just simple, innit? When you think about it. But in a sense of like, I did, when I got into the hobby and when I got into it, did I really think that I was going to be successful? I hoped I was going to be, you know what I mean? Like we spoke about before, but the reality of it is like you said, a lot of people drop out of it after a year, don't they? You know what I mean? So, at the end of the day, it's, I am happy with the way it's what it's gone to. And for me to say I'm shutting my tank down because I can't fit any more coral in it, that to me, is like,
good result.
Yeah, is the result. You know what I mean? So yeah, I think it's a new chapter in the Mugs' aquarium world. I think it'll be. You know what I mean? But Nick's saying that, it's not now, my friend.
But also keeping it for that period of time without crashing it or anything like that, because it's not, I'm not saying it's a fine balance, but it's easy to do something massively wrong. And for it to crash, and so have that stability. So you say you don't do much to it, but you got stuff dialed in, and so if you got stuff dialed in, you've got things monitored and stuff like that. So actually, it's less likely to have an issue. And and the biggest risk you've got, as we all have, is power, really, isn't it?
Yeah,
because that probably on seals, that one of those two things is probably the biggest issue you've got on a tank that's going for quite a while.
No, it is, to be fair. You know what I mean? Yeah, I mean, like I said, really, I totally get what you're saying. Once you and we say it all the time, don't we? Like stability and not chasing numbers and stuff like, you know what I mean? People are so I was in the fish shop not long ago, yeah, like I said a couple of weeks ago, and I was speaking to this young guy, well, younger than me anyways, but in his 30s or something, and he was like saying, oh, you know, he's going on to his first tank and this and that, and I was like chatting away, and he was like, yeah, but my parameters need to be blah blah blah, and he was rattling them off, you know, like what his parameters had to be, and he was so adamant on this, and I just started looking at him, and I was shaking my head, and he was like, yeah, and he was like, what you shaking your head at? I said, mate, listen, no, just don't even think that your parameters are going to be what you want them to be. Yeah, keep them within a ballpark and just leave them there. Yeah, just leave them there. Don't mess about. Oh God, I want my nitrates to be 10 and now they're 11 or they're 9. Now I'm going to have to do this. Yeah, that's not going to happen, mate. Just don't. And he just looked so confused, as if to say, like, what's this guy talking about? You know what I mean? And then I said, and then Becky behind the counter, she was like, show him your tank, Steve. And I showed him the tank, and he was like, and then he listened to me, and he was like, oh, right. So you're saying I've got to stick it? Yeah, I've got to stick in between a ballpark. I think he just thought I was a little Billy bullshit. You know what I mean? But that's what I think he actually thought I was. You know what I mean? To be fair, but yeah, I talked to him for about half an hour, 40 minutes. But it was when people say you got to stick to it. No, you don't. No, that's the way, and that's why I think I'd be successful, because I've not stuck to something. I've kept it in a ballpark. As long as it's in between the numbers that I want it to be, it's stable, mate. And that's the way I look at it, is stability. You know what I mean? Yeah. So yeah, it's I have been lucky, and I have been, like you said, fortunate that I've not had any diseases, you know, like velvet or ick or anything like that in my fish. You know what I mean? Whether that's got something to do because I was running like the sterilizers, UV sterilizer. I've always run them. You know what I mean? Yeah, I've always run them. You know what I mean? So is it got something to do with that? Maybe, I don't know. You know what I mean? Or is it luck? Could be, you know what I mean? So you do need a bit of luck in this hobby for sure. You know what I mean? It's as simple as that, as we all know.
But also, don't panic. The number of people that something happens and all of a sudden they'll do something drastic to their tank, and then they'll screw something else up. And it's about not panicking. Yeah, because if something dies, all of a sudden people want to rip their tank apart and do this and do that, and do I need to change that? And you have to wait and see, don't you? You check it and things like that. And it could, one thing dies, it doesn't mean the whole thing's going to be a disaster. It would be a coral or fish.
Yeah. Drippy's guessed it.
What, a chocolate bar?
Yeah, you're close, my mate. You're close. No, but yeah, I am. It's a new chapter, mate. I'm looking forward to it. To be fair, so yeah, can't wait. So I don't know where Jay is. He's either gone and phone McDonald's to get some happening. I don't know what's gone. You know what I mean?
I'll just message him to see what's happening.
Yes. Anyway, John writes, "But you could always do a giveaway on here." John, that's very true. You know what?
Yeah.
I could do it. I could do a giveaway, and you know what? I will do a giveaway if that's the case. Yeah. But the one thing is, I've spoke about it before, is I've never shipped any coral out. Sorry, I did do, but I just said, listen, if it dies on the way, then that's, you know what I mean? It's no fault of my own, because I've just never done it. You know what I mean? To be fair, I've never done it. So, I mean, the amount of people have, contacted me when I put things up for sale, I'm talking like 50, 60, 70 people. Do you ship it? Do you ship it? Do you ship it? They've seen my channel. And I could have sold my tank, all my stuff out my tank, if I'd have shipped it. But I just haven't shipped them, you know what I mean? Because I don't know. I just don't. It's not about. I just don't feel comfortable, because you know me. I don't like things dying anyway. Yeah, and I'm thinking, if I take something and I ship it and it dies, then it just looks bad on me. You know what I mean? That I've not done it right, and I just, that's the only reason why I've always stayed away from it. I know you, Paul. You've done it tons and tons of times.
I used to do it quite a lot. So I used to, again, when I had the colonies in there, I used to do frag packs on eBay. About 3 or 4 pieces of SPS. I always had 3 or 4 pieces there, and I used to send them out. And the key for me when you're doing SPS is keep the heat pack away from the pots, because as soon as they get too close, I used to put dividers in, so the heat pack would always sit on one side. You had a cardboard divider. Then I had some bubble wrap in the middle, and then I had them on the far right hand side. And it, touch wood, I lost the odd piece, because you're going to lose the odd piece. That's what happens. But SPS is the hardest to do, but I found LPS and other stuff really, really easy to send. So if you end up doing it, Steve, there's lots of people give you tips, but there's some simple things to do, like putting holes in the box, because your heat pack dies if it doesn't get oxygen from outside. So anytime you get a box and you think there's no holes in this, you wonder if the heat pack's actually going to be hot or not.
You know what? I will try it. I will try. You know what? John, you got my word. When I start to frag things at the start, I will do a giveaway of a mixed box of coral. That's what I'll do. A mixed
trial for you, isn't it?
As a giveaway. But I'm not gonna promise that they're gonna get there all alive. That's what I'm gonna say that straight from the get go.
I think you'd be surprised. Bit of carbon in the pot as well. So if they slime carbon and salt it out, stuff like that, I think makes a
No, I will do 100%. I will do that. I will definitely do that for sure. But like you said, it's when you don't, it's like you step out your comfort zone, isn't it? When you don't do something, when you do something different, you know what I mean? Yeah, you always feel uncomfortable, don't you? I do anyway.
It's when they're higher end and more expensive that you're a bit more nervous. Let's be honest.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So, I mean, like, I would never. I don't think I would ever ship like a torch coral, like a Holy Grail or something like that, mate. I don't think I could ever do that. I just don't think it'd survive. You know what I mean? It'd be in my head. I wouldn't be able to sleep. I'd be shipping it. I'd be like, sleepless nights, and I've not slept.
I've had them posted before, and they've done all right. To be fair,
have you?
I've never posted them though. I've had them. I've been on the receiving end. I don't.
You've been on the receiving end, yeah. Exactly, yeah. You just said it. I don't think I'll be comfortably sending them.
I don't think I'd send torches. I think number one, they have to be settled. They have to be fragged quite a while to have really settled. And whilst people say torches are really easy, they can be really delicate, and they can bow really, really quickly.
Yourself.
I wouldn't do that on a torch unless you put it in a big bag. I used to put
it upside down, don't you?
Yeah, you put it upside down, but I think a bigger pot as well. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, a lot of people do it. It's not something I've done before, and if I've sold a torch, I've just done it locally. I haven't needed to send them out in the post because I've sold them locally pretty easily. A bit like Jay's done with his. So I think you shouldn't have a problem with the Holy Grail and stuff like that, Steve. As long as they're settled, which you do, they'll be as good as gold. Yeah. It's just the other stuff.
Yeah. I mean, that is one of the growers, like it's like Jay's really, like that Holy Grail. That just grows like there's no. The amount of heads that just keep growing on that thing is just crazy. It's just, it's absolutely mad. And yet the other one, like the Dragon Soul that I've got, it's got about probably 10 heads on it or something like that. But I've had that for 4 years and it's never grown any more heads. I got it as a single head, but it's only ever grown 10 heads. I've never fragged it. That's it. That's all it's ever grown that for some strange reason. And yet the Holy Grail, that one just
keeps on popping.
God, I think it's got about 18 heads on it already. And now, you know what I mean? Or something stupid like that. It's mad how certain corals grow quicker and stuff like that. And like you said, and yet it's the same genus, and it's still a euphyllia, isn't it? So it's
sometimes I think you just drop on where you've put it in the tank, though, in all fairness, when it comes to flow and light.
Could be right,
if you moved it.
You were on about it earlier with the lad in the shop. For me, it's about the range, not the number. Worst case scenario, maximum. And again, it's the same with coral placement for me. It'd be ideal if it went there, but there's no room for it, so I'm going to put it there instead of down here, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
because I mean, I do see, like, obviously my torches are on the floor on the sandbed, but you do see like Scott, my mate, who joins us in the stream here, he's got his, like, they're all over. So there's one there's in the middle, the bottom, the top, the middle, and yet they're all flowing and stuff like that. Like they all seem to be open the same. You know what I mean? And yet, like you said, sometimes some people say too much flow. They don't like too much flow. They don't like too little flow. They like medium flow, etc., etc. Like you said, I think they'll choose themselves where they like, won't they? You know what I mean?
What a wide topic, though. What is too much flow?
What is
your opinion of flow is different to mine? Do you know what I mean? And why? And that's the same thing. You go into a shop and somebody says this, that, and the other, but it might be completely different when you go into a different shop or somebody else's tank. And we've all got different opinions of doing it, I think.
Yeah.
I think for me, obviously, you know, you find that sweet spot for a coral and keep your hand out the tank and it'll be happy.
Yeah. I found the torch in the one in the floating aquascape, it gets flow from both sides and it basically just waves backwards and forwards. And it's probably the only time I've been able to achieve that in the tanks that I've had with torches, and it's grown the best. So and whenever they get any kind of limited flow, for me, they don't grow as well as if they're getting it from both sides. That's just, I mean, that's just someone will have a completely different experience, like you say, Tom.
Yeah.
That's just I've found that how it's worked the best. But I run my nutrients really high in that tank, whereas others will run it lower and then have the same effect, if not better. So
I think you're right, because sometimes when it goes too much to one side, you've got that, you risk that danger of it rubbing on its own skeleton and cutting itself, which has happened to me a few times with too much flow. And
also then get the detritus out, because I think from both sides it will push it through from both, and they just sit there, don't they, like that, the torches. And I think one, it's great to see, and secondly, I think that for me is the best condition. I mean, also look at Goniopora. I mean, the ones that Jay's got, and Goniopori's got a superb. I wouldn't say they get battered, but they get some really decent flow. Yeah, the polyp extension on those are excellent.
Exactly.
They're really good. Because other people say it's too much, but look at them. You know, they're easily extended by 3-4 inches.
But then it goes back to everybody's got a coral that they can't keep.
Yeah.
Goniopora is safe.
You know what I mean?
Mate, I would, honest to God, that in out of the blue we were talking about them before, they've got that. Well, a lot of them do seem to do it. You know, these LFS stores now. I'm sure AAC have done them as well. To be fair, I'm sure I've seen it on their site as well. Yeah, where they've got the Goniopora frag discs, where there's a different, like
a flower garden.
Different,
like
the flower garden. Mate, they have about 3 or 4 of them on it, don't they? They look absolutely out of this world, mate. I absolutely love them, and I always dream. I always think I'd love to be able to get one of them and put it in my tank. I would make room for it, mate. I would make room for it, But for some reason, my tank just does not like it. When I got the ICP test back and it came back, all of it was near enough green. Every one of it was green, and yet I put one of them in and it wouldn't take. I placed them high flow, low flow, medium light, high light, medium light, everything, mate. I've tried everything with that pink one that I got, and it was perfect for a month. And then all of a sudden it just went, I'm bailing, and it just bailed out, and I was just so frustrated with it. It's one of those corals that you get frustrated with, mate. You know what I mean? Because I'm like, what am I doing wrong? You know what I mean? And then we were talking, they like manganese and stuff like that. Started dosing manganese and things. Started dosing this, started dosing that. And no matter what I did, just never, I just can't keep them. You know what I mean? It's one of those corals I just can't keep. So, I stay away from them now. There's no point in me buying them because I know that they're not going to live, so I'd rather invest my money and stuff and time into things that I think I can keep. You know what I mean? But
mine used to be wall hammers in the early days for some reason.
Used to be what?
Wall hammers.
Wall hammers, right?
I just have a right nightmare with them. I don't know why. Branching ones, no problem. This is going back some years in one of my earlier systems, but when I get a wall hammer, don't know why. Don't know whether it was cleanup crew. Don't know whether it was just parameters. Don't know. Infection. Don't know whether I was just unlucky. But I did it 2 or 3 times, and I gave up in the end because I just spent too much money. So
that's the problem with those kind of wall hammers and those type of corals. Once they start going downhill, you can't frag.
Exactly.
All you can do is watch or dip it or stuff like that. Whereas with a branching one, if you want the head, you could cut that off or frag it up to see if you can save a couple.
And that's why they're more popular, isn't it?
Yeah, and there's more around, isn't it? Because they can be propagated and everything else, so therefore that works.
And I think the more they're fragged as well and passed around, the harder they become as well.
I would, absolutely. Yeah, I think that's like with most corals, though, isn't it? The fact they've been passed around in different generations, they're just really hard, and some of them almost to the point of bulletproof. So you haven't really got to worry about your parameters and the swings too much because they might sulk for a little bit, but there'll be. I mean, the candy cane ones that I've got, that's from a frag that I got one of my first corals nearly 9 years ago, and the kind of the conditions that goes through, and I can put it in a brand new tank and everything else, and it will salt, but it's bulletproof. The NEMs have been all over them. They soak, but they don't die. All that kind of thing. Torches sting them to bits, and they just kind of laugh it off and crack on. It's one of those.
See what we should do, Steve. You just popped into my head. Yeah. I'll send you the par meter up for you to use, because it'd be a good idea for you to measure it now to see what everything's at.
Yeah, because
so
you've got
what they used to.
You've got. I mean, I've got the Senai.
I've got the
Senai as well.
You've got the Apogee, and he's got he's got like the top one.
Proper one.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Be good. Sure. Be a good idea to try it. Is all I'm saying. You know.
Yeah.
Be curious to know what the feedings are, because that's what they've grown. That's what they've grown under, isn't it, for however long? And that's what they used to.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, I know the top. My Stylopoda, when I use the Senai, Stylopoda on the top where they're literally coming out of the thing, it was reading. You wouldn't believe it. It was reading 500 par on the top of there. You know what I mean? It was madness, mate. You know that, but like we said before, it's not like I've just placed them in at 500. They've been used to that for the past 5 years. You know what I mean? They've grown into that. Like, you know what I mean? Whereas I dare say if you got a frag and stuck it at 500 par, it'd probably bleach out. You know what I mean? It's just that they've adapted, to it. They've acclimatized to it, mate. Yeah, for sure. So, but that's exactly. I know exactly what that is. It's about 500. I think it was like 510 par or something. It was so much stupid because I couldn't believe it. I had to retest it. But I mean, it is crazy how.
It gets the overlap of the two lights. It gets the overlap of the two lights. Gets the puck from either side.
Yeah, so it gets it.
Almost gets like double bubble because it gets from both.
Yeah, from both. Absolutely. So, but I think Darren is asking me. I'm sure I don't know who's asking it. I was looking for a Scot of the Rainbow Chalice, but there is no Scot in, so I'm assuming he means me here. Yeah, and the Rainbow Chalice is not for sale, but I've said that anything's for sale for the right price, Darren. So contact me. It could all go into the pot, but we'll see how
you're putting in the new tanks anyway. You're going mixed reef.
Pardon?
Are you doing a mixed reef?
No. Well, to be honest,
is this a giveaway?
To be honest, no, I'll give away this. Yeah, it's not going to be a mixed reef. Yes, in the sense of like all the stuff that I've got. You know what I mean? It's going to be predominantly SPS. It's going to be the majority of it is going to be SPS. Yeah.
We're having a tank
but
off.
It's going to. Pardon?
SPS with some
having a tank off.
Yeah. It's going to be an SPS dominated tank, mate. You know what I mean? To be honest, that's all I'm going to give away. Well, that's what I want. I want to get I'm not going to say this because we always say like the higher end SPS and stuff like that, to challenge myself. The greatest and greatest, this pink lemonade and all this nonsense business.
Oh, that is nice, higher end lemonade.
Yeah.
It's a lovely call.
Pink Floyd.
But the Pink Floyds and stuff like that. But I am, to be fair, I am going to get a few of the collector's pieces. I am going to get a few of those collector piece corals, you know what I mean, to be fair, SPS. And I'm going to see how they go because, to be fair, I've never really had the collector's piece, you know what I mean, to be honest. I had the strawberry shortcake, and that only died when the power tripped. Other than that, it was going perfect. And when the power tripped and my tank was off without power for like 10 hours or 12 hours, whatever it was, and the temperature went low and etc. That was the one coral that didn't survive. You know what I mean? So
battery backup, Steve. You need a battery backup for flow.
Yeah.
And a little bit.
Well, that's why I bought a generator.
Yeah, it's no good if you're not in, though, is it? That's the problem.
But that's it. That's it. That's exactly what it is, mate. So to be honest, it's I on this new tank. When I get it, I'm gonna have everything that needs that is gonna need to survive. Like I said, battery backup, everything, mate. It's gonna be, and I'm gonna all the cable management is all gonna be done before I even put water in it. It's just like everything is gonna be like, mate. I'm not gonna do all this nonsense business, but I will say, I probably won't need all of the stuff that I've got on the tank anyway. What I'm gonna have in my new tank.
No, so, you need more.
maybe.
With you think about calc, all your dosing pumps.
Well, to be honest, I don't think I don't think I need the calc Quasso, to be honest. I don't think I need it. I don't think the way I'm going, I don't think I need it. I'm working out whether I would, but I don't think I would. You know what I mean?
You're gonna go calcium reactor.
Because
we've been talking about calcium reactor for ages, but you had nowhere to put it.
Yes, possible, mate. It's possible. You never know. You never know. Yeah, some things it could happen. It could happen, but
so basically, Tom is getting a flash tank. He's going high end. He wants the clicks and the likes and the clickbait and all that to say what's happened to my high end SPS.
No comment.
Died. And then you look at it and all of a sudden it looks lovely. Clickbait, you are going to be, Steve. Mogsy clickbait.
Hey, I'm not going to do that. No, you don't be. I'd say it as it is. It's good and bad. Things die, things don't. I'm going to say it as it is. It's going to be a journey, a new journey. Version 2. Mogs's Aquarium. Version 2, that's what it's going to be, mate. That's what it'll be. So it's going to be and hopefully it'll be as good as the first journey that I went on. So yeah, fingers crossed. But anyway, Nick's gave me $9.99. I don't know how that's happened. I appreciate that, mate. Nice one, Nick. I'm going to have to catch up because I'm miles away. 8:14. Jeez, that's where I'm at here.
Well, you've been guessing about your new tank for half an hour.
Hold on a minute. Right, let's catch up.
And Jay still hasn't joined us. I don't know what he's doing. He's trying to reboot it.
He's doing his own.
Jay's not joined us.
I think he's putting away the shopping and having his takeaway. But there we go.
Yeah, I do. Red Devil, buy a water box, 340 gallon, mate. I don't even think that my floral giveaway you might get a 340 gallon. Nick's put Steve's new tank fund. Nick, I appreciate you, mate. £10. Yeah, absolutely. Let's see. Me, where from? I don't know what that means. Let's see. Why do I feel another car boot coming on?
Steve, last week we was talking about Tidal Gardens and their kind of live stream for selling corals. You'd be able to do that, and you just put the camera across the tank. People bid on it. Well, we can then put the auction hammer down in it, and you can send them out. You can send them in the post to die.
Yeah, that sounds good.
It's a bit harsh.
Yeah.
Give the guy some confidence. You need to encourage him. I'm telling him to frag everything, and you're telling me it's going to die.
They'll be fine.
Poor man's Tidal Garden. The poor man's Tidal Garden. I appreciate that, Paul. Absolutely, mate. Yeah, we could go.
Don't send him in an envelope.
Well, some people say, can someone send out some Zoas? And I just want it in a damp cloth in a padded envelope.
Yeah.
Hey, all things aside, did anybody see the the Reef Builder's recent video on the French Angel? The CT scan.
I've not seen it yet.
I haven't. I've seen the thumbnail for it, but it looks in Denver or something, isn't it? It looks phenomenal.
You need to watch it. That was just, I thought it was spam at first when I looked through it until I watched it. It's unreal. Unreal. Yeah.
I will watch it. I always
recommend it.
Polo Reef, when they get the fish and they inject them and stuff like that. So I've seen what he does.
They gave it a CT scan, took it out of water, sedated it, put it to 2 wet sponges next to it, put it through a CT scan, 10 seconds each side, and seriously, it's unreal. You think it's dead, but it's still alive, and it came around and everything. Unreal. Definitely worth watching if you've not seen it.
Mad, isn't it?
I really recommend it. Yeah,
we'll be watching that. Absolutely. I always watch their stuff. Tony put, Steve, will you be buying new or a mixture of second hand? Well, to be honest, Tony, I'm not going to be getting when I say I'm getting rid of the tank, I'm just going to get rid of the tank. But all of the stuff like the pumps, the dosing pumps and lights, everything, I'm keeping. So I'm just going to box them up. I've got all the boxes in the attic, in the loft. I'm just going to box them all up and keep them safe, clean them up, keep them safe. And then when I'm ready and I've got the new tank and stuff like that, and the house is decorated and I'm ready to go, then I'll just unbox it and stick all of that stuff on it, to be fair. So the only thing I will be buying a new tank. And obviously, as I've said before, I'm going to go with Mick because, to be honest, I do love his tanks. I think they're fantastic, great quality made. So I'm going to go with him. He will be doing the tank. So
nice.
Sometime in the new year, we'll sort something out and we'll get him to put the pen to the paper, so to speak, and then we'll get it going. We'll get it set up and get it going, and then hopefully, like I said, by Marchish, with hopefully my tank will be all tucked down and we'll start doing things. Hopefully, fingers crossed, by April the house will be done, decorated, and then we could maybe get the tank in there, depending on like how busy Mick is. So we'll figure something out, you know what I mean? But like I said, really, the only thing that I will be buying really in theory is the tank. To be honest,
big are you going?
So, pardon?
How big are you going? Share the love.
Well, this is it.
It's a secret, Tom.
This is the secret. This is the secret, mate. This is the. It's not about whether I'm going big or I'm going small. Depends on it. It doesn't know. Nobody knows. But it's going to be different. It'll be different. It is.
Well, you're going to have a tank different in every different room, like an hamster ball.
Yeah.
Piped through every wall.
And the fish just slalom all the way
see your tank in every room.
Like
if I had my way, mate,
lazy river. A lazy river.
Yeah. If I could, mate, I would.
Sat there reading paper on toilet and there's just fish going past.
A tank going past your head. Yeah, that would be mint. Yeah.
Goes upstairs through the tube. Down the stairs.
Oh, mate. You know what? It would be mad. It would be mad. Gus Explores has said, is it fairly easy to sell on coral? I don't.
Depends.
It is. I suppose it is.
There's a lot on the market. There's a lot. Depends what you're selling and the price.
Absolutely, and that's exactly what Paul said. The price, really. You know what I mean? To be honest, I mean, a lot of people. I mean, like you get online sellers. Sorry, like people like ourselves, like hobbyists, yeah, where they charge you just as much as like LFS stores and stuff like that. You know what I mean? To be fair, you know, I see it all the time. You know, piece of this for that, and I'm like, hold on a minute, I could. That's the same price as an LFS. You know what I mean? Whereas when I was selling mine for like less than half price. You know what I mean, of what the stores were selling. But I wasn't doing it to, and I've said it before. I got into this hobby not to make money out of it. I got into this hobby to see if I could succeed in it and to show people on my journey, whether a guy who's never had a fish in his life, mate, other than a goldfish winning on a fair, that's the only fish I ever had, mate. So, and it was just a challenge to see if I could do it, and obviously for my state of mind at the time, and that was basically it. You know what I mean? So to make money out of it, that wasn't in, you know, it's not in the thing, but it's just over time as your corals grow, and like I've just mentioned before, you know, it grows too quick. It's growing too quick, and then it fills out, and then you're like, right, I need a bigger tank, or I need to shut this down. And it's coming, like I said, it's coming to the end of it. So, but corals really are fairly easy if you price it right, and it's something that people want to buy. You know what I mean? They will buy it. You know, like you said, my guitar, that does seem to sell. My guitar does seem to sell.
I think the big thing for me though with that is, from experience, is if you're selling frags that are a decent size, that are a frag.
Yeah.
You know, which again is a conversation in terms of what clarifies as a frag. They're settled, they're rested, and they're from a mature system. So there's more chance of, you know, they're gonna grow, and they're gonna what's the word I'm looking for? They're gonna settle in somebody else's tank. Then people are gonna come back to you. If you try and swindle somebody by saying it's a frag and it's literally like that, you know, and it's been cut on a Monday and posted on a Tuesday, you're not going to get repeat business. So, and I've experienced both ends. You know what I mean? So I think, I think just be honest with yourself if you're going to do it, and a decent sized frag that's settled, and you, like you were saying, Paul, that you ship it properly, and you spend the money on the, you know, because you've got to spend a little money to make a bit of money, haven't you? With the, you know, the poly boxes and the heat packs. It's not
cheap. Poly boxes and heat packs
and the postage.
The prices of those are just a nut. So actually, I charge, I do 15 quid, which sounds a lot, but when I add up the postage, which I think depending on the weight, I think under 500 grams is like just under 8 quid to send it next day before 4 o'clock. Heat packs, I think about 152 quid. Poly boxes are not far off for 2 quid. You got the little pots, the specimen pots with the You add all that up, you ain't got any change.
It's like,
true that.
What's your lifestyle with your job? If you work, have you got the time to go to a post office? How far is the post office? Can you park at the post office? All these little things, it's
a pain.
Might sound silly, but they all add up when it comes to posting live animals out, because that's what they are, isn't it?
But also to box them up properly takes time. If I had 2 or 3 orders, I used to hate that in a day because got to get it, put the carbon in, the amount of time you put it, and each pot would be wrapped in bubble wrap as well, and then I put bubble wrap around all of it, so it was nice and secure, nice and warm in itself. And then by the time you've done all that and you've done the box up and everything else, that actually takes quite a bit of time. Now I didn't, I haven't got a facility or anything like that, but that's not a quick job. If you're just doing it from on the kitchen table or something like that. And as you say, you got to get to post office and you've got to queue for ages, and then they insist on asking you what it is and blah 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 and all that. It's a pain in the
Is it a bomb? Is it going to explode? All that.
You don't say it's coral or anything like that. I always say it's plastic mugs, and then that's it.
Yeah, exactly.
I just can't be asked having a conversation about anything else.
Yeah, that's it.
Everybody in the queue is just talking to each other, saying coral.
Yeah, animal welfare bombing the house and stuff like
that. God, right. Let's have a look, because we are miles behind here now. I'm over half an hour late.
Right, well, shut up and you can go through the comments, Steve. While you're doing that, I'll see where Jay is.
Paul's after frags. Nick, we're after frags, Vic. Absolutely, no problem. We can sort something out, I'm sure. Let's have a look. You'll be prepared for setbacks as well as successes. Totally agree.
Yeah,
John and Coach, but absolutely don't panic. This is what we were talking about before, weren't we? In sense of what do you call it? John Wright, we'd all pay postage. Don't worry about that, mate. I'm not bothered about that. I'm more worried whether they survive, mate. That's all I'm worried about, and that they get there health safe. You know what I mean? So, I think we will. We'll dig it. We'll deal with it, mate, and we'll definitely do a giveaway. We'll do a mixed box of a giveaway. I've got all the sample pots. The finger. I've got all them anyway. So it just be getting
from
some
urine samples.
poly boxes.
Yeah,
some of them. Yeah, from when I was ill. No, we'll when I won't. We'll sort some out. Let's have a look. If you look at torch wrong, some will bail. It's very true, that, to be fair. Gus, I think I am going to have to rely on all my corals get shipped to me. Most of my LFS stop stocking reef stuff, really, and very limited stock.
That's a shame.
That's a shame. That is a shame, like I said.
I think we take that for granted because all of us, all the 3 of us, and obviously Jay as well, we've got some really good LFS and a number of LFS around us, but a lot of people around the country have got nothing anywhere near them, and if they are, they're not the best.
I think there's a lot of people as well that are scared of going onto forums. A lot of these forums, there's people on there who've been there on absolute decades who know a lot of stuff, and there's people who've been on there not so long at all, and you can go on there and
as well.
You can pick up some brilliant stuff, and you can pick it up from a very established tank from people that will happily disclose the parameters, who know what they're talking about, and you get it at a fraction of the price than eBay that has to take a cut and everything else. So I'd definitely go on forums and talk to people on there. You shouldn't be put off by creating a username and just talking to people. It's the best way.
Yeah. I think Ultimate Reef, whilst it has its downsides, in terms of if you want to buy stuff, whether it be kit or corals and that, you get some really good deals on there.
I bought most of my second-hand stuff off Ultimate Reef.
Yeah, I used to buy some frags off of there, and actually I bought some kit off there as well, because they're usually honest reefers that are on there.
Well, yeah.
You have a look to see how many posts they're made and things like that. So if they've only done 50 posts and they haven't been on long, you think, but there's people on there that have been there decades, have done 3,000-4,000 posts. They're not going to tuck you up.
No. And every time I've gone and bought a coral from somebody off Ultimate Reef over the years, I guarantee you, whenever I've bought that coral, they'll give me something for free, just as a bit of a try that, have a go with that. And that is what this hobby should be built on, for me. Yeah. Not how much can I get for that? How much can I get off that?
Yeah. There is, certainly where I am, there is a lot of people around that I share corals with swap corals and stuff like that. I'll go to them and they'll look after my corals if I'm closing the tank back, and vice versa. And it you know, it saves you money, but also, like you say, it's what the hobby should be around.
Well, the irony is the more people that experience all these different corals and have them, the bigger the hobby will grow.
Yeah, absolutely. So the actual shops will benefit.
But, exactly.
Absolutely. Yeah. Because people stay there. You know, you buy loads of corals and he dies, you paid a lot of money. People
and that's why frags always work.
Yeah, absolutely. You're going to see his experience. They'll say, maybe not, but try this. You try it, and all of a sudden your confidence grows. Your confidence grows, your experience grows. You then go and try other things. You've got more confidence, and then you know your way around about it. And if you're less
somebody walks into an LFS and buys a couple of SPS frags at 10, 15 quid each, and they die, then they'll have another go at it. Somebody who walks in and buys a colony at 100 quid and it dies, probably won't go there again.
Yeah, and that's what's happened. Well, you know what? Bought torches, and that's what's happened. The torches were not cheap, are they? And I wouldn't try that. I wouldn't say that's a beginner coral personally. I'd have the tank going for quite a few months before I put a torch in there. That's my personal view. Other people do it straight away, and that's fine. But if you don't want to lose it, then don't try that kind of stuff. Not when you paid 100, 150 quid. I wouldn't go that as a beginner. I wouldn't do that either. I'd go nice, easy ones, because loads of really lovely LPS that are really hardy and they're forgiving for your mistakes, aren't they? Yeah, and that's what you want.
Yeah. Nirian's in the house evening. Hey. Nirian, hope you're well, my friend.
Hope you're well.
John's saying he's doing some fragging this weekend to give somebody who's set up an 8-foot tank. That's what it's all about. You know what I mean? Exactly. Like you said, it's just helping out helping out. I mean, the amount of free corals that I've given away. Seriously, I'm not lying to you. Like I said, people have come around and they've gone, and they said, oh, that's nice, and I'll snap a piece of, like you said, stylopolar off and say, yeah, try it. You know, put it in your, see what you're thinking of. And I just give so much stuff away. But I always look here like I'm helping somebody. You know what I mean? I'm helping somebody.
It's not just that, but if you
know what I mean.
If you've got a nice coral,
successful, stay in it, mate.
Yeah. If you've got a nice coral and you're sharing it, and you have a problem, then you just say, you know.
I've always, and like Scott, I've said to Scott, you know, like in the past, and Scott's done it with me, where when I used to buy Zolas from him and bought other things from him, and like he said, you know, like he always looks at it like, I'll give you a piece for X amount of money, which is neither here nor there, But he said, if anything happens to my tank and you're successful in your tank, then if for instance, say I want another piece of it, I'll give it to him for whatever, you know what I mean? And it's true that, you know what I mean? Help people out. Put a coral in your tank. Yeah,
I'm probably going to get chastised for this comment, but I'm a strong believer in that a lot of the reasons why some of these corals are as expensive as they are is simply because not everybody has access to them. So the more people have got access to them, from a supply and demand point of view, it will drive the price down, and more people have got a chance of having it. And then for the hobby's sake, which I'm a believer in, there's more chance of that coral staying in the hobby and not, you know, disappearing. And hence, one person in the country's got it, and it's £1,000 a frag instead of most people have got it, and it's 20 quid a frag. And that encourages more people into the SPS or into the hobby, for example.
Yeah. I think Zoas are a really good example. You go back years.
Oh, crikey. Ultra Chaos, I was paying £60 a poly.
I was just about to say Utter Chaos and all of those.
In the day.
Yeah, absolutely. If you look at those and all things like Raja Rampage, they were like 150 quid for 1 or 2 eyes. You can now get 6, 7 eyes for 30 quid. Because actually Raja Rampage is a quick growing chalice and it's not that difficult to look after. So over time, as you say, they get fragged, they get shared about, and the prices come down.
I know that's not very good for people who are trying to sell it, but all I'm saying is, like, you know, the reason why some of these frags are 100, 150 pound a frag is because sometimes they are difficult to keep, but a lot of the time, majority of the time, it's supply and demand. So if people are, you know, not trying to ask silly money for stuff and ask for a decent, you know, then share the love without sounding cheesy, you know.
No, you're spot on.
Absolutely. Mick said, Steve, what was I saying? Low iron, single brace, mitered corners, ultra clear, silicon or mite. Every bit of that sounds perfect, Mick. We will be going that route.
Steve, stop copying me.
Yeah, it's not going to be as big as yours. It's not going to be a
mini me.
Yeah, it's not going to be as big as yours. You've got a bigger one, mate. That's not going to happen. Yeah, you got a bigger one there, mate. It's not going to happen.
All right, okay.
Gus has said he's just setting up his first reef tank. Oh, congratulations, mate! It's
nice.
Like we said before, it's always great setting up a tank. You know what I mean? Starting on the journey, yeah, it's always fantastic. I am thinking about using TMC Eco Reef Rock. What size of tank do the boxes do? What size of tank do the boxes do? I am getting a 220 litre tank. All right, so it means like
so
what box? How much comes in? How much rock comes in the box?
So you get a standard box, don't you?
Standard box, yeah.
I don't know, because there used to be a rule of thumb on rock per litre, but there isn't anymore. What I would do, Gus, I would Google and have a look to see what kind of Rockscape you like, first of all, because that will determine how much rock you actually need. Because the problem is, if you buy a box, you may get sizes and bits you don't want. So for this tank behind me, which is much smaller, I've done loads of Googling, load of research to have a look at what Rockscape did I want, and then I just took the best bits from that. I don't know how much rock you get in those boxes, and also I don't know how much rock you really want, because some people, when I started out, I had a sea of rock at the top, at the back. Yeah, you got to go. What kind of style do you want, Gus? It doesn't help you in terms of your question, but I think have a clear in your mind what kind of aquascape you want. Is it something similar to what Tom's got, or different?
I'm just going on
tank as well. Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just going on to him and they do like, I mean, they do like different shapes. I'm just actually looking, on here, because they do different ranges from like £189 upwards. But what they do is they do it in like shapes, different shapes. Let's see if I can share this. How do I share it now? This is where I went wrong, wasn't it, last time?
Going to present.
Present, yeah.
And it'll be share screen.
Right. Share screen.
And then it should. And then you'll get a menu, and then you click on what image you want to put on there.
Oh yeah. That's the one. Right. So here we go. So here it is here. So can you see?
All right.
Yeah. So what's that? You got B, C, and D. Is that different boxes?
Yeah. So basically, like it goes up here. It says choose a box A, B, C, D, E, F. Yeah. And then basically you go down to it, and these are the Rockscape. These are the rocks that you actually get in that specific box. You see the shapes of them. You know what I mean? So, I mean, that's a lot of rock. 200 and what do they say? 220 litres is tank. That's a hell of a lot of rock to go into it.
Has he not got access to an LFS where he can literally go and buy some dry rock and then keep going back if he wants more? To be honest, just to keep it safe.
Yeah, I would probably do that, to be fair. Go and see it, and because that looks a lot of rock, that for 200. And to be honest with you do want rock, don't get me wrong, yeah. And it depends on, like you said, what you're going to go with, how you skate and stuff like that. And not only skate, like we spoke about it before in the past, like what fish you're going to keep. You're going to, they need hidey holes and stuff like that, caves to hide in and things like that. These are the things that you gotta think. It's one thing that I never thought of, to be fair. You know what I mean? I'm the worst one. So for me to give things, but it's what I've learned, in the past, over the past like 6 years of being in it, is exactly that is what I will do next time, is like manage on how I'm going to think, what fish I'm going to keep. Is there going to be ones that are going to need caves, etc., because you need to plan it in 220 litres. Once you've got some bio balls in there, maybe some max blocks, that's a lot of biological stuff media in there for sure. And I don't want it to look, because when I did my first tank by 170, it looked like a rock of rolling rubble, come down a mountain. It just looked absolutely horrendous, mate.
I was just going to say that if it's his first tank, and let's all be honest, hands in the air, he's going to be itching to get that wet. For sure, absolutely, mate.
Like
we all do. So he's probably already bought it.
Yeah, it's gone for the £322 packs one.
Yeah, I think if I was going to give him any advice, is less is more when it comes to rock.
Yeah.
You know, you need so much. Obviously, you can't just put a pebble in, but less is more. You know, I've ended up taking more rock out than I've put in. Let's just say.
I think look at the BRS TV, the 52 weeks of reefing, but the first one, because that talks a lot about Rockscape. Look, Google and have a look about Rockscapes, because one thing you got to remember is the flow. So try and have the flow going behind. So in a way you want to circular, but you don't want dead spots. So think about the kind of style you want to go for. Whatever you buy, you can take a hammer and chisel to it and put it into shape anyway, which I know sounds bad. You got this rock and you got these shapes and you're knocking it to bits, but there's nothing wrong with doing that. Think about the kind of fish you want to keep and just little gaps, little holes for them to sit in, because when they're stressed, they like to have a little cave or something they can go and hide in. And also a lot of the fish will go and sleep in certain places. Things like Bengal cardinals don't, but things like what they do, wrasse will. What other fish actually go asleep? Actually go and hide. Blennies.
Amphias do and chromis do, believe it or not.
Amphias do. They'll go and if I go and switch the light, and you'll see them laying in the rock.
They do. Yeah.
Royal grammars, that's a nice fish. That hides in the rock as well.
The simple rule with his rock needs to be that he needs to be able to access it to service it.
Yeah.
Stay with that principle.
So Tom, what does that mean? What does that mean?
What I'm saying is if you build too much of a fancy rockscape and you can't access the back of it and something drops behind or you drop something in your tank, it just creates a headache for you that you don't need. So especially if it's his first tank. So like I say, less is more. A rockscape that he likes that isn't overboard, and he can put his hand at the back to clean it, to clean the glass or siphon the sand, whatever he wants to do, or he's dropped a coral and he needs to pick it out. Just all these little things that become a ball ache if you've created a massive scape that you don't need.
And also have some shelves in it, so some flat areas or flattish, so you can put corals. Because if you've got something that's like that, you put a coral that's there, that's going to shade down there. So if you have stacks and staircases, kind of, if it goes bang, 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 you can put a coral there, and a coral there, and they, depending on your placement of corals you get, they shouldn't overshadow one another.
If it's a cube, it's a cube. The best sort of shape for me, again from experience, is to try and create like a bit of a pyramid sort of shape with a few branches, so you don't have that shading issue as you go down, if that makes sense.
Like your scape on the right, that to me is like my dream scape. Your one, Tom, where you are where it goes down, but it steps. It goes up like a pyramid, but it steps like what Paul has just said himself, where you can put corals and you know that it's not going to be shaded out because it's the way it's stepped down. Do you know what I mean? These things, like you said, it sounds all easy in one sense, but like when I set mine up, I did it. These things I never thought of, mate. I never thought of it. I just looked at the scape and I was like, God, that looks bang on. That looks perfect. I did my scape in about 30 minutes, mate, and it was done. And I was like, I'm happy with that. I'm quite happy with that. No thought. Whereas now I would put thought into my scape now.
But I also have to argue that half of the fun or pain of this hobby is making the mistakes that we've all made and learning from them. Even though we're going to say tonight, don't do this, do this. I'm sorry, but you have to do it and not do it to come out the other end. For me,
I agree. I suppose.
That's part of reefing.
You will make mistakes, But I always look. I was going to say that, but try and avoid them if you can. And then, like I said, and that's why. Like I do my YouTube channel and try and put things out for people not to make mistakes, not to do what I did and stuff like that, you know what I mean? But like you said, you are at some point going to make a mistake, you know what I mean? You'll either leave with you doing your out of water like I did, and that's why my missus says, no, left me out of water, flooded in my kitchen, you know what I mean? These things you're gonna make mistakes, mate. You're gonna take your eye off the ball and something's gonna happen. But you know what? That's all part of the fun. I think that's all part of fun.
Yeah, it is. It is,
challenging yourself.
I'm not saying don't share. I'm not saying don't share. Bad practice. I'm saying
that you are going to make
if it's his first tank, he's going to want that. He's going to be wet this weekend. He's going to be down his LFS store saying, "I want one of those. I want one of those. I've seen one of those." And we've all done it. Is all I'm saying. So fair play to him. I just think, in hindsight, if he was going to listen, I'd be saying, like I said with the Rock, be able to service it, get to things, clean it, etc., etc. And coral placement is absolutely key with that. I
agree.
What does he want to put in? And again, less is more. For me, it's not a case of putting 20 frags in because it looks good. Because in a couple of years' time, if he's managed to keep it going, it's going to cause a lot of problems.
Absolutely.
Exactly. And like you said, if you look at your size of your tank there, 9 foot. And it's like, if you think about it, you've only got 2 skates, which are not massive, are they? In retrospect to the tank.
No,
you know what I mean? They're not huge, are they? You know what I mean?
No, because,
it's just like you said, it's just what the skate, it's just what you're going for. Because you know what you're going to do.
That's just from having tanks and not being, in the past and not being 100% happy with them and making mistakes, as we're saying, and coming up with different ideas and different ways of making it better. But the irony for me with it, when it comes to a rockscape, is you go swimming you go snorkeling or scuba diving on a coral reef. You don't look at the rock, do you? You can't see the rock because it's covered by coral. So what does it matter to an extent? What it looks like?
True that. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It needs to serve the purpose of the corals that you're putting in it in terms of light and flow, and obviously detritus and biofilm, etc. Which is why mine's not touching the glass, but I like the look of it, but it's not going to look like that when it's covered in coral.
Absolutely.
Is it?
But you've done it for the shelving and the placement.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly is what I'm saying.
And you can see from here, you've got the different levels.
Yeah. But you could achieve that. You could achieve that same look, is all I'm saying, many different ways.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Of course. Absolutely, mate. Yeah. No, totally agree. So hopefully Gus that explained a little bit about it. But let's keep moving on.
God.
A 2-hour round trip. That's terrible. That is really. Like we said before, I'm blessed it really in theory in Manchester where I am. I mean, we've got a fair few. We've got a fair few LFS stores which are still managing to keep the doors open and stuff. So.
And do you think that's because the airport?
I don't know, mate.
Because my theory on that has always been Manchester with the airport with stuff coming in is obviously is it hitting the ground obviously it makes more sense to have shops in the local vicinity, but that's just a theory I've got.
Possible, mate. Yeah, possible. But yeah, I mean, like the local, like out of the blue. Yeah, when people go to it, it's so small. It's like
I've been.
Yeah, you've been. It's like a port cabin in it. It's small in it. Yeah.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, and I think to myself,
but the experience was good. First, they were nice guys.
Yeah, they're fantastic. You know what I mean? Vinny and what do you call it? And Becca. And don't get me wrong, it's like when they first opened, I thought this can't sustain. This won't stay open. Well, you know what though? Fair play to them, mate. Yeah, they stuck at it. They dug deep. Yeah, they went through the hard times and stuff like we all went through. Yeah, and and like I said before earlier on at the beginning of the show, some of the corals they've got in there is out of this world. Some fantastic corals in there and fish. And now they've got a new display. They're getting a new display put in and everything. It's like really, really top notch and stuff. And I am going to do a video in there as well. When they get the new tank in there, I've asked them. So I'm going to do a good video of it, showing all the corals and stuff of what they've got in, because I think it's well worth it. You know what I mean, and stuff. And I like you said, it's only literally 10 minutes up the road from me. So I'm blessed. So Cotter, I do feel his pain on a 2-hour round trip. That's just like it's bad that. But let's see, Mickey boy, keeping out of the shops is what's killing the shops. Yeah, are you agree?
Well, the shops need to be open in the first place, Mick.
Yeah, true. John, I met the owner of Reef Aquatics yesterday. He's putting on the Aqua exhibition. I was amazed that he's only 27 and he's a multi-millionaire. Nice guy too. Oh, fair play to him. what corals would you put in first? Well, this is a. I mean, you've not even bought the rock, but let's go.
See, I told you.
Once you cycle, once you cycled your tank and everything's all hunky dory and stuff. Like Paul said, at least you need to wait at least a couple of months, a good couple of months. You know, I'd say 4 months. I mean, don't get me wrong.
Realistically, for your first tank, there's no way he's going to wait.
No,
3 or 4 months.
Listen. This is supposed to be a channel. This is supposed to be a channel of teaching them the right way. Yeah, whether they do it that way, that's entirely down to them. But really, the right way to do it. All right, we'll say the right way to do it, and then we'll go on to the way you will do it. Yeah, the right way is like you'd let it cycle. You get a couple of fish in there once it, and get it all going, and then leave it a couple of months from putting the fish in. Put a couple of corals, hardy corals in there and stuff. I suppose you could put like a Kenya tree or some softy corals and stuff like that. See how they go. Depends on what you want to do, really. To be fair, SPS, I wouldn't even bother because they probably won't survive. In fact, they won't survive. To be fair, and then every month or so, I'd maybe some zoas and stuff. That brings a bit of colour to the tank and stuff like that. Loads of zoas, and do it that way and just go slowly with it. You know what I mean? To be fair, don't go too far. The reality of it, though, is you'll probably go to the shop, you'll probably buy 15 corals, stick them all in your tank, stick them all in your tank, and eventually, I'd probably give it a week or two, and they'll probably start to die. So that's the reality of it. I'm going to be honest with you. It's like anything, and we say it time again in this hobby, it's a marathon. It's not a sprint. It's a marathon. Take your time. And good things come to those who wait. That's the way I always look at it. You know what I mean? So just take your time with it.
Definitely.
I think first corals, something zoas like Sunny D, Utter Chaos.
Yes, Sunny D.
I think they're easy, and especially if you put them fairly close to one another. You got the contrast
they look lovely
colours, so they pop quite nice. After a couple of months, maybe Duncans. I think Duncans are excellent corals. You get a nice lot of flow, and
he's probably not going to be testing his water as regularly as most. So.
I did mine every week religiously,
probably
for the first 12, 18 months. And then it went to pot after that. But I was in a
so it needs to be corals that are going to be all right when it goes to pot then. So probably some mushrooms maybe in there as well. Probably.
The only thing with mushrooms, though, you do too well, they spread too much, and then you regret getting them.
Well, it might. I mean,
So don't
Paulson Xenia. Don't put Paulson Xenia in it.
If you put Paulson Xenia, have it on a separate rock on its own away from anything else.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't.
Don't be one of those people that thinks don't be one of those people that think you're growing corals when you've got Aptasia in your tank either. Because I've seen those on eBay before back in the day.
Yeah. So I think that. Cane, war corals.
Candy cane.
I think you're right, Paul. Duncan's definitely. Duncan's a really underrated coral.
Fantastic looking coral, and you get some lovely movement with them as well. So you get movement. They're hardy.
They're branching as well. So again, they're hardy if there's any issue with them.
They'll pop some heads quite easily. Yeah. So that's what I go with.
Plus, you can control the growth as well because with them being on a branch, they're not as evasive as a pally or a zoa.
Yes, because some zoas are a bit of a pain. They can grow too quickly, can't they? Things like rastas, sometimes once they get going, you can't stop them.
Oh, yeah. True that. True. Cottage Reef, every hobby guy I've gone to get a coral from has always given me something.
Exactly.
Free. Absolutely. Johnny's put 99% in this hobby are givers and not takers, for sure. Absolutely, I totally agree.
I'm glad Jay's not on there.
Where do you put Chalice? I'm assuming. Where do you put Chalice? Chalice. I mean, I think it could go anywhere. To be honest, Chalice. I've got some high up. I've had it middle. I've had it lower. I've had it on the sand. To be honest, there is no real. In my opinion, in my experience, I've had Chalice everywhere, mate, and it seems to go. Don't get me wrong. Sometimes it'll won't be as colourful, and yet that one that you sent me, Paul, right? The Raja that you sent me now, you can tell if it has too much light, then the black rings around the yellow start to fade out, and I've got mine right in the perfect spot because they're still jet black. The rings are still jet black around the yellow eyes. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I know like it's perfect there where I've got it, and that's halfway up on my skate. So it's probably getting around about say 240, 230, 240 par. I would have thought roughly-ish, I reckon, and stuff like that. So
don't put next to your prize coral.
It'll tell you.
They sting.
Yeah,
they're
they
really
sting.
corals. I would
have
them
to
lower
manage
down.
its growth.
Yeah, I think they tend to lose their colour the higher they go. The more par they got, they don't bleach, but I think they lose their vibrancy and they get a bit more pastel colours. So I usually keep mine lower, and as you say, about 250 is probably the most in terms of par. If you've got a par, if you haven't, then I wouldn't put them higher than halfway in your tank. Personally, if they go on the sand bed, sometimes they don't grow as well because they get irritated. So if I got them on the sand bed, I usually raise them onto quite a large frag plug, or a bit of rock or something. So I think off the sand bed is probably best because they just get irritated and the sand blows onto them and then they just don't grow as well, I find.
My rainbow chalice has lived on the sand. It's always been on the sand. It's never been on any rock.
But it's on sand, though, isn't it? Isn't it on a base? That's what I mean. Not directly on the sand bed.
No. Yeah, it's on a base. What it grows on for sure.
That's what I mean.
But it's always been on the thing. And
yeah,
like
you say, a lot of
people say sticking on the rock, on the Rockscape and stuff like that. That's where you find it. And yeah, for sure. It'll tell you. Your corals tell you whether they like the place where you put it. Anyway, to be fair, you know what I mean. Let's see. Gus has said he was liking box A or C, I think, but pictures are not the same as holding. Absolutely.
The only thing, can I just, sorry to butt in, if the only thing from experience with the box of rock again is if it's being posted, it might not get delivered like that.
Get smashed up in the posted, get chucked around.
Get smashed.
Yeah,
I've had a couple of them in the past where you've had a piece that you're really looking forward to, and it's ended up being in 2 or 3 pieces. Some of it not salvageable. So just bear that in mind if you're having it posted.
That is a fair point. So don't treat them with care. And if you're talking about 15, 20 kilograms a box,
because it gets thrown around in a warehouse and nobody cares.
Yeah. Yes, that's a fair point.
He said, he said ordering the TMC Eco Reef at Maidenhead Aquatics. I think I would need to head to Glasgow or Edinburgh for marine stuff. And Nick's he said it goes together like Lego. He's used it and it's some nice builds and it looks ace. So yeah. And then Tekka said no more than £40. So yeah, £40 is remember a lot of the old timers used to say, and the old school reefers used to say, what was it? It had to be a certain amount of pounds per litres you had and all that.
Yeah, I can't remember.
You know now times have like changed because you've got like you said, smaller surface agitate like in like bio balls and stuff like that, and max spec, the blocks and stuff. They just take up so much bacteria that it can sustain a decent sized tank. You know what I mean? But I mean, you need to look at go over if you can. Anyway, go and have a look at what you want to do because there's loads of different stuff. Like you said, the TMC, and then there's the other Eco Reef stuff, and the fingers got it.
There's loads of different stuff. Loads of scapes. Just Google it. Just look through images. I've done it many a Sunday afternoon. Just literally flick through Google and found something I like and get some inspiration that way.
Yeah, or you'll find out what you don't like, and sometimes that gives you to where you do end up with because I definitely don't want that. I don't want that. I don't want that. And it leads you down to a path of what you do want.
Yeah, exactly. NG Reefer there's put Chalice, Life Rock. I that's what I put in mine. To be fair, I had the old what was it called? My 170, which I transferred over into it. The Aqua Roach. The Aqua Roach. I had the Aqua Roach in my 170.
Oh, the towers.
Yeah. The towers. Yeah, I had one of them. It was rock. It was rock. I had the rock. The stuff, and I built it myself. Well, I say built it. It was just a massive rubble. That's what I did, and I stuck it together. I bought when I sold me 170, I transferred that into there, and then I bought what NG Reefer got. I got the Chalice Life Rock for mine, and as an added with the arch and stuff, and that's what the arch is in my tank. It looks great. I mean, because it's got that pink pigmentation in it. So it's not like the bright white rock that you can get, and it's like takes forever to get the coralline algae on it and stuff like. It already seems to be set, you know, it's set on it sort of thing. So that's what I liked about it, and yeah, I never had any issues with like phosphates. You know, because people are afraid of that, aren't they? You know, with some rocks, they say, "Oh, it's leaching out phosphates, or it leaches this and it leaches that." I mean, I never had any issues when I put that stuff in. So there's loads of different rocks that you can put in. To be fair, but it's what you like, isn't it? It's what you like, what you want to go for. To be fair,
yeah.
I think that's the key thing is to stick to that. It's what you like.
It's what you
like.
want.
What you want to buy with your money, and stick to that.
Exactly.
Then you'll be happy and you'll enjoy it.
You're right, for sure, absolutely. No true word said. Stuart, our Chalice corals, like plating corals, basically that's what they are. They just go out in a plate, or in my experience anyway, they do. You know what I mean? That Hollywood stunner, which I absolutely hate, by the way, that is just an absolute. Do not get that.
Used to be a prized possession that back in the day. Hollywood stunner. Everybody wanted it.
Do not get that Hollywood stunner ever, please. I mean,
send him a frag, Steve.
It look, mate. You can have the plate. You can have the old lot if you want. Collect it, no problem. But seriously, I mean, when I got it as a 50p piece, it looked lovely when I stuck it on the rock. It's like, lovely. Now it's the size of like a dinner plate, and it just grows like basically like a weed all over things, all over the tank, on the side walls. It's just relentless, mate. And the sweeper tentacles on that are like 4 inches, 5 inches, mate. They're absolutely massive.
We should do that.
Stay away from that.
Anybody that's got a beginner tank should prove they've got a beginner tank by holding up the username on a piece of paper, and they get a free frag pack sent out between us to get them into it. Just saying.
Yeah.
That's not a bad idea. I think so. Going back to the Chalice, most of them are plating, but I have found some of them doing crust over the rock. I think it really depends on how you position them. Because if you put them on a rock and they're on the frag plug like that, they will grow up and out. Sometimes if you put them at an angle, they'll encrust. So it really depends on the position, I find as well. And if they're on the sand bed, but just a little bit on a piece of rock, then they will plate. But I have found the odd one to encrust, but most of them do plate. I've found it's not always the case. I mean, I don't want to put it on the frag plug and it grew down the frag plug and it now looks like a mushroom, like a tomato. So that it does vary.
Yeah, because that Raja that you got, mate, obviously it was only smaller than I put it. I put it on a ledge. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And all it's done is it's grown out. It's not grown on the rock. It's not grown down the sides of it. It's just grown literally like a little mini plate. So I'm assuming that's what will happen. It'll just like continually keep growing out like a plate. I don't know. You know what I mean? I'm assuming it will. But like I said, it might drop down because with the flow and stuff like that hitting it. I don't know. But
it is the flow. The avatar, which is that one now, that's gone round and it's now growing down. Because I put it in, I put it on a frag plug again that was pointing out like that. It was on there, it's just going out, and it's now it's now just shaping itself down, and you can't see the frag plug. Like, it's almost like an umbrella when you got them open. That's the way that one's going. But I think it depends on how you position it and also the flow that it's getting as well. But most of the time they are plating.
One of the corals I'm surprised neither of you two have got is Sastras. Have you not got any Sastras?
No, it's not one I've never really. I probably need to get some for the Aquascape because I think they're lower light, aren't they?
I think they're underrated. I think they're brilliant corals.
I've got a Jingle Bells one.
Have you?
That's nice. Yeah, I've got that. Yeah, that's lovely.
Do they do better in lower light?
I don't know. I've only dabbled with them a few times, but whenever I've placed them, they have been lower at the tank. In all fairness,
I've got a couple of spaces in the floating Aquascape where I've got where the torch is shadowing. So I might try one because it's looking a bit bare around that area, but I can't put anything that I usually put there because they'll hate it because of the lack of light.
Yeah.
And I don't want to get an MPS. I don't want to get a sun coral or anything like that because it's just I always find they're a pain to do. I just want to keep it easy.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's put Scott. Scott put I've always scaped my tanks, and lots of others just remember it's the skeleton of the display and not the display. Nothing worse than building too high, too much, and too close to the glass. Totally agree, mate. Absolutely spot on there. Couldn't have said it anyway. Joe is in the house. Hey, Reefer Geek. Sorry we're late. Busy packing for a trip to Tenerife tomorrow. Going to watch from the beginning. Nice. Have a good one. Nice. Hit the thumbs up. Absolutely. Enjoy your break away, Joe. As always. Let's see. I will stick some pictures on Instagram when the rocks are in and see what people say. Absolutely, yeah. That's what you need to do, mate. John,
if you've got loads of patience, then actually create a template of what your tank looks like.
Yeah,
you know the size, and also create at the back as well, and then mark it where it's at the 50. Some people say the 50% level, because your Rockscape then don't put it above 50% because it's then got room for the corals to grow up and out. Otherwise, if you take it up to 70-80%, the corals grow, and then the flow starts becoming a bit of a pain. And that was the mistake I made. I had corals that were growing out of the water, which looks great, but from a flow point of view and the light point of view, it's a real pain because nothing underneath gets any light because the corals are just taking all of the light. So you could do that if you really have the patience and you want to plan your Rockscape. Otherwise, you're putting your hand in and out of the tank, and then you risk the rock hitting the glass as opposed to doing the aquascape and then gluing it together in segments. So therefore, if you create an aquascape, you've then got 5 or 6 parts to put into the tank rather than each individual rock. You could do it that way.
Yeah.
Depends. There's loads of different ways of doing it.
Totally agree. He's put, he can be super patient. Learned that with tropical fish. Well, patience is key. Absolutely, mate. Patience is key.
The other thing I was going to say with the rock is if he does it when it's out of the tank, he's got a better chance of gluing it, cementing it, putting it, whatever he chooses, and making sure it can cure overnight and he's happy with it before he then tries to transfer it to a tank, because there's nothing worse than trying doing it in a tank, leant over, you scratch the glass, you drop it on the bottom, on the base. You're only looking at it from down and not from the side. Yeah. So if he's got the chance of doing that, I'd definitely recommend doing it. But
I wouldn't glue the whole thing and putting it in one go. Do it in
no. Do it in stages.
Even though this is only a small aquascape, this is in 2 segments. So I've got that, and this is only a small tank. I've got that one piece there, and then that's a separate piece. And then once it was in there, I then put some putty from the top to bottom whilst it was in there, just so it then becomes one piece.
But he can play about with it, is all I'm saying, so he can get...
Yeah, absolutely.
He can see what he likes and what he doesn't like.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, Jay's message, he's given up. Jay's given up because he can't get the camera
No wonder it's an hour and 36 minutes in. I thought he'd given up a long time ago.
But anyway,
it probably looks like a kebab. He's been on sunbed that long.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly, mate. That's what I think it is. For sure. Yeah. Never mind. We'll catch up with him next week, I'm sure. John's put, Jake Adams said in one of his videos, it's okay to put corals in early. Yeah. You know what? I don't think there's a specific time for it. I think it's just what your preference. Like for me, what you're good with. For me, setting up, and we say it all the time, you're keeping water. You're not keeping a coral, you're keeping water. So I think if you've got a good stability in your water is perfect, and then you add the coral, you've got a better chance of your coral surviving. That's all I say, and thriving. You know what I mean? Whereas a newly set up tank, don't get me wrong, it's cycled and it's good enough. Don't get me wrong, but it's, to me, like anything, rushing. Like when I cycle my tank, I didn't do it. I did it the old school with a prawn and stuff like that, and it took weeks and weeks. Whereas nowadays people put a bottle of bacteria in, and it's done in within a few days or whatever.
There's nothing wrong with that.
There's nothing wrong with it. That's their choice. Yeah, it's your preference. No, you know what I mean? I didn't put coral in my tank, my finger tank. It took six weeks, I think, to cycle or something like that. And I think I put coral in maybe about 4 months after it had cycled. Sorry, 3 months after it had cycled. You know what I mean? So in a way, I mean, I dare say I could have put some in straight away, straight from the get-go. Do you know what I mean?
Like I said earlier with the parameters,
down to you, mate. There's no right or wrong.
Yeah. You were saying about the lads in the shop earlier about the parameters and chasing the numbers. I was saying about the range. It's the same with putting corals into a new system. there's a range in which a coral will adapt and allow them to live in, and there isn't.
Yeah.
So if you're putting them into a new system, if you're putting a coral that its range is this, the chances of its survival are a lot slimmer. And I think for me, from experience, so you can put corals in straight away, but there need to be corals that are more,
good with those conditions.
Yeah, are hardier
That's why I said those names like Zoas, Duncans, War Coral, Candy Cane, all of those will deal with really wide ranges, especially if they've been fragged and come out of other people's tanks. They're gonna salt, but they probably won't bow unless you've got a massive swing. Or your salinity. If your salinity goes right through the floor, most things.
You saw that paper I sent you.
Salinity and heat. Yeah, I've read it. I'm clued up on it, Tom. I'm not too sure.
Do you like it?
I've only read part of it, mate.
There we go.
Read part of it. Yeah, I haven't read it all.
Let down. Larry let down.
I haven't had time.
That's why Jay hasn't come on.
He's still reading it. He's scared he's going to get questioned off me.
Yeah.
I haven't had time, mate. I haven't had time with it.
No, but did the principle make sense though?
He hasn't read it.
Did the principle make sense?
I've only read part of it. But Paul, does the principle make sense?
We had absolutely it does in terms of salinity and heat and temperature and the range and corals kept in a different part of the world, and you take them out of that part of the world and put them in completely different conditions, and that's why a mixed reef is really difficult because you've got different ranges of different corals from around the world that don't live together, and they won't all like it, and some of them will sulk and bow potentially.
Exactly. Right, let's have a look. We're caught up to people here now. I think we've. Oh no, we're still a few away.
You got loads.
Got loads of people. People are commenting today, aren't they? They want to give me. They're giving me overtime. They're at this rate.
Good job.
Let's have a look.
Good job. You haven't got a giveaway, innit, Steve? You'd be having an heart attack.
God, oh mate, yeah, exactly. Ocean Project cycle tanks with SPS and soup mix. But they're experienced and a shop full of corals too. Exactly, mate. Yeah, I mean, we're talking. This is a shop that we're talking our ones that are home, mate. You know what I mean, and stuff like that. So,
but also they might well be using cycled rock. It might be rock that's come from another tank.
Yeah, exactly.
And you can't compare a hobbyist to that of the experience.
No,
but it's a fair point. No. If you've got the experience and people will do that, they'll put everything in and it'll be fine.
You can cycle a tank with coral. Yeah, absolutely. But is it the right way? This is the question, isn't it? Of course you can. Of course you can do it. But is it the right way? What's the right way? What's the wrong way? You know what I mean? It's exactly. For somebody to start out, I don't know. Is that giving the right advice or is it giving the wrong advice? When you do things like that. So, I mean, we want to get people in the hobby, to keep people in the hobby. And for me, if I always look at it like I said, I might beat around the bush in terms of doing it the old school way, but guess what? It works, mate. It works, and it's worked for 5 years on my tank. So and I've never had an issue. So I think I'm right in the right sense where I can say, well, you know what, the way I did it was the right way because it worked for me. But it might not work. It might not work for Joe Bloggs down the road. It might not work for Tom. It might not work for you. So, but it's worked for me. So that's the only advice I can give is I did it this way, blah, blah, blah. And it works. I'm not saying it's going to work for you, but you never know.
And every tank is different. The three tanks I've got here, the behavior of those three are completely different. And it drives me nuts. But I have to treat them all very different, even though they have the same salt and they're in the same environment, should we call it.
But there'll be a way of doing it that has got a much stronger success ratio than others.
Yeah,
so if you go with the methods that have got the biggest success ratio, guess what? You're more likely to carry on in the hobby, get success, get addicted with the hobby, spend more time in the hobby, and be in the hobby longer, which is what it's about for me.
Yeah,
totally agree.
It's a bit like 100%. Steve. You say you don't do water changes. That's fine. That's great for you. Some people wouldn't dream of not doing water changes because that's what works for them, and their system is completely different.
And that's what I've always said. It's what works for you and your lifestyle, and to keep you in the hobby. As soon as it becomes a chore, you don't do it. Everything goes out the window, and you have problems.
It goes south, doesn't it? Yeah.
It is true, mate. 100%. 100%. John said, Steve, can I put my rainbow chalice in your tank for a while? Because it's slow to... Mate, have you seen my rainbow chalice? It took me two and a bit years to grow that, mate. So I think mine's pretty slow growing. Yeah, they're one of those corals that are absolutely stunning coral. Probably been my best coral, to be fair, by a long shot in the tank. But yeah, it's super slow growing, mate. You know what I mean? It is like pulling your hair out. You know what I mean? But
that's why it's so expensive, isn't it?
From a tiny little bubble-sized gum, you know what I mean, to what it is now. You know what I mean? And to keep it, like you said, to keep it alive and thriving. You know what I mean?
Should be another reason. Again, that should be another reason for the frag argument for me. They're hardier, they're cheaper, and you get more. You should get more satisfaction from being able to say in 6 months' time, look at what I've achieved.
I agree.
Just saying.
But not with a rainbow chalice, because they'll just sit there.
All right. I'm just saying.
I agree in most, absolutely, but they're probably the slowest grower I've ever seen, and that's why they're so expensive, because they're hard, they're slower to grow out, and people are easy to frag chalice. Just use a pair of scissors and you fragged the chalice.
Oh yeah. Oh mate, I don't know. I couldn't do that. Oh, putting a pair of scissors. Oh mate, no, I couldn't do that. No,
I did that the other today. I just a pair of scissors like a pizza.
Don't they tend to break though, like multiplay? I've not really had much chalices. It's not really coral.
Oh no,
it's a really thin crust. That's a really thin crust on the chalice.
Thinner than a multiplay, than a cap.
Yes, if you tear it, it's more likely to die. So if you use a sharp pair of scissors, it goes through the crust really easy. So they're usually quite round. So I just cut them like a piece of pizza. So they go into almost like pizza slices. Is how I.
Oh mate, no.
And I've got a video where I actually fragged a rainbow chalice live on a live stream.
You did.
Amongst others.
Yes, he did.
And that was amongst others.
Yeah,
so
that was brave.
I done it on my own. So it's the first solo live stream I did.
Fair enough.
I did a rainbow chalice. I've done 2 or 3 other chalices as well. But they're easy to frag.
And it's one of those corals, where you don't dip it. No matter what you do, you just do not dip a chalice. Rainbow is because the flesh on it is so delicate, so thin, but you put it in for 10 seconds or something like me, and it'll just melt,
dissolve.
It just goes away.
The rainbow chalice will lose its colour for quite a while.
It's awful, mate. You just don't do it.
Really?
Well, to be honest, I don't know whether any bugs live on a chalice. Is there a specific bug that lives on it? Do they? You know what I mean?
Some. You get,
because how could you get if you can't dip them? How do you get rid of those bugs? That's the problem, isn't it?
You have to look really carefully underneath to have a look.
That's what I'm saying. You'd have to, won't you?
So you do get pests.
Anyway, Augustus said, "Cheers, guys. This has been awesome. Absolutely, mate. No problem whatsoever. All on here, friendly and helpful. Absolutely, John." Cottage Put, love Sastras. Yeah, they are a nice coral.
I think they're
you can get branching, can't you? I must admit, I would like to try one. Yeah.
Have you seen the Looney Tunes one?
No.
That's nice.
That's nice. That might go in my new tank when I get it.
Very nice.
There we go. Especially for Instagram. That one, Tom.
Very nice.
Hey, calm down.
I'm sure it's Looney Tunes. You'll have to Google it. I had one a long time ago. Yeah.
Thanks, guys. I'll be getting some Chalice.
I love Chalice
next week.
Love Chalice.
Perfect. Yeah, get a Raj up. I think, to be honest, I think that's probably like one of the best chalices out there, mate. Like that little piece that I got from you, Paul. It's
worth the wait.
Little tiny, 2 eyes, 3 eyes or something. Now it's like it's got at least 15 eyes or something on it now, I'd say. Something like that, maybe.
I'll tell you what, coral seems to have gone off the front page a little bit over the last, I don't know, year or so, but I'm not really into the LPS as much. Is the leptos and the jack-o'-lanterns that were flying around a bit ago. They were really hot topic, weren't they? If you remember.
Yeah. The jack-o'-lantern, definitely, because that was really expensive, wasn't it? About 4 years ago.
Yeah.
There's a big argument as to whether it's an LPS or an SPS still. I'm not going to go there. Yeah.
Lovely colour though, and I think they're really hardy as well. But they pop gold, don't they? Superb.
Yeah, silly pop. Yeah.
Russ has said that he's always been a template for his hardscape.
Yeah.
50% is good to know though, as he's always went for 2/3 before.
You can go 2/3, depending on what corals you're going to have. So I'd say 50% to 2/3, depending on what you're going to keep.
And
what corals tend to grow up, don't they?
As well.
Yeah, absolutely. Patience is key. Totally agree, John. He put mine 2 months to cycle and 4 months before any coral. Absolutely, mate. Like you said, it's remember you when you get in this hobby, you're not in it to stay in it for 10 minutes and 15 minutes or whatever. You're in it for a long run. So you want to see you want to make sure that it's right, done right, and take your time with it, because like I said, it comes the good things come to those who wait, and eventually you'll be like, thank God I waited, thank God I did that. That's what I did anyway. That's why I did. I thought to myself, thank God I waited that long to put some in. And,
I know it sounds a bit cruel.
And like you said,
just like you put a chromis in a new tank, or typically people put chromis in when they cycle a new tank.
When they're cycling.
Put a lower end coral in. Go to LFS. There'll be something £5, £10. Try it. If you're itching to
test
try
the corals.
Test a coral at £5-10, then not £100 or £80 or whatever you're going to spend. See what happens, and just have some patience. Like John said, patience is key.
Totally agree.
I agree with Reef King on that one.
SPS definitely.
I agree with that one. 100%. I agree with that one.
100%.
Don't dream of it. Don't dream of it.
No,
it's going to be. I'm growing algae before SPS in this system.
Fair comment. And that's why if you don't have corals and you have an algae outbreak, you can turn the lights off. The fish will be okay, so you can manage it. Whereas if you've got corals in and also you have an algae outbreak, it's so much harder to manage. You can build up the bacteria again, that kind of stuff, and then you can try again and ramp the lights back up.
There's nothing worse than having frags that are trying to grow and they're just fighting with nuisance algae that's trying to.
And it's irritating them and running the frag plug and everything else.
Give me a break.
Exactly. Mickey boy, all different, but we're all trying to run the same parameters. Yeah, or similar parameters for sure, mate. For sure. He said John put stunning corals though on his fingernail size. Mate, there'll probably be a fingernail size for another 6 months or so, mate. Just patience, patience. You said it. Patience is key, and it'll grow, mate.
Absolutely.
Bare bottom tanks take ages to cycle. To be honest, I don't think I would ever go bare bottom tank, to be fair. Well, that's my opinion. I don't think I would.
I actually made my tank recycle and start to cycle again by having a bare bottom tank. I've done it twice. Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And that was just.
So you would have a bare bottom then again?
No. But again, it's all subjective. If you can paint it out, in the long run, it pays dividends in the long run. It really does.
Yeah.
But I'd say first 12 to 18 months, it's a balancing act.
Yeah.
Again, just from
because if you think about it, the majority of your bacteria, the beneficial bacteria and stuff like that, and the healthy bio thing, is in the sand, innit? You know what I mean? Let's be honest.
It's a surface area, isn't it? It's a surface area.
Yeah, it's a surface area. And the lack of it and everything, all the good stuff is all being in there, and to like I said, I mean, don't get me wrong, I've seen there's some on Instagram and stuff, and where it's just like the skate with no sand, and it's like all SPS, and I'm like, wow, that looks incredible. But the time and effort and patience that must have took, mate, for it to turn out like that, is probably on another planet, mate, because I don't think I could have done it. You know what I mean? To be fair, but I like sand. I like sand in a reef. I think that's what it's all about. You know what I mean? When we go diving, like you said, snorkeling or whatever, you see the sand, see the rock.
It just looks better, doesn't it?
That's what you see, mate. It just you get the contrast. For me, that's a reef tank. You know what I mean? That's a reef tank. Is the sand?
It's a piece of the ocean in your home, isn't it?
Yeah,
exactly. So, I mean, but like you said, it's exactly down to yourself in what you want to do. With your own tank. Sure, like Tom said before, it's your money, it's your tank. Do what you want to do with it. You know what I mean?
Happy with it.
Absolutely.
If it makes you happy, then absolutely. What's that? There's Tom.
like bringing up a child.
Exactly, yeah.
Exactly.
My jack-o'-lantern is so bright. I've got my jack-o'-lantern. It's like it's covered the whole rock on my left-hand side where my Montipora is, but my Montipora has covered it now, so it doesn't even hardly get any light. You know what I mean? Which is not good. So I'm still contemplating taking
as well.
At
night. Don't they give off tentacles
what,
at night like Chalice?
No, they're not. No,
they're not.
No,
stinging.
No.
They don't sting. They've got small tentacles, but I haven't known it to sting.
Tiny ones, but they're not.
Whereas Chalice will just sting most things in sight.
Sting anything. Yeah. Right, so I've caught up. So we're right up to the thing 153. So Gus has put, what's the advantage of a bare bottom? I don't like the way it looks, but obviously that's my opinion. Absolutely. To be honest, it's the waste in it, really. You know, like I think it's probably easier to clean. You know what I mean? You know, with your fish waste and all that, having a bare bottom.
A lot of people put power heads.
You can put a power head,
low down, and it blows then all of the
Plastic,
detritus and everything around, and actually then it hoovers it up. It then goes down your overflow, so therefore you have less detritus. And also, if you keep SPS, if you got really high flow, you don't have a sandstorm. So there's that as well. So you find that people with bare bottoms, if you look on YouTube and that, you'll have the power heads at the back usually quite low, and maybe one at the side, and they'll just circle around. So it helps with the flow and the maintenance of the tank.
But depending on what fish you're going to put in it and cleanup crew, if you go bare bottom, it's a bit like getting a hotel without a bed in it.
Yeah, wrasse will hate. Most wrasse will hate it. For starters, you get some wrasse that'll go into rot, but most wrasse like a sand bed, don't they? Amongst other fish.
Sure. Boom. Let's have a look. Where is it now? Let's scroll down. Yeah, so I've near enough caught up to everything now, to be fair.
We have. And we only got 3 minutes, so you're there or thereabouts.
I have done all right then, really, to be fair. Is that down to not enough media in the sump area or rock? I don't know. What do you say?
Could be. Well, if you haven't got enough surface area, I don't know if could you make it up with having more blocks and bricks and other things like that in the sump.
Well, I think
maybe over time you could.
Yeah, over time.
Yeah, go on, Tom.
Yeah, I had a frag tank that I did it in, and I don't think, from experience, I don't think I gave it enough time for it to cycle before I started putting corals in and frags in, and it basically mini cycled halfway through, and I was like, why have I got nitrite and not nitrate? And that was
it didn't finish.
6 months in.
Yeah.
Well, it either had not finished or it started again, and again it was because there wasn't enough surface area.
The bacteria dies off, then that can trigger a cycle, can't it?
Yeah. And it caused a bit of an issue. So, but I did it on my Red Sea 65. I did it when I did the KZ on it, and it was banging. But again, I had a couple of fish in it and cleanup crew, and it didn't feel right. So that's why I've not done it on this one.
But also with KZ, you've got all of the bacteria
you're putting all nutrients in the bacteria.
You're putting everything in there. It's a plan to do that, isn't it? Yeah.
But aesthetically, I just didn't think it when I did it. I didn't. Yeah. And the other thing as well, I've got a lot of montes on a lot of encrusted montes on the base of the tank, and as they encrusted, some people might say it looked cool, but it just looked a bit of a mess. Just like a fried egg, just on the base.
They start overlapping. Because I had that in the tank here. There was actually a Chalice that decided not to plate, and it decided to encrust, and it started going up the side as well. And I just couldn't get it off. I had to rescue a couple of bits in the end because I just couldn't get it off the base of it. So some of them do look nice. If you like that look, and again, it's up to your personal preference. No sand, and then you've got encrusting corals over the bottom. That look pretty good. And other people think that looks really ugly. So again, it's preference, isn't it?
Yeah. But as we've all said already, that's why there's sand in the ocean.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know what Mickey Boy's trying to say here. Tom, put your hand up to speak. Is he taking a piss? Or what? What does he mean by that? What do you mean by that? Hey? What's all that? Tom, put your hand up next time.
It's probably because I'm talking over you. He's probably saying I'm talking over you, Steve. Apologies if I am.
Oh, is he talking over? Oh, you're not talking over me. No, absolutely not, mate. But yeah, like I said, a few people are talking about up the thing about the sand bed and stuff, not having a sand reef kings, but easy to keep clean, like you just said, Tom and Paul and stuff like that.
Flow,
it doesn't look as natural. And John has put a perfect thing saying, yeah, it's all about choice, Carl, and no one is right. Exactly. Yeah, no one is right, mate. It's entirely down to yourself what you want to go for. Personally, I will always have sand in my reef tank. Always, you know what I mean? I would never not have sand. I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, in what's it called? Oasis down in Salford. They had a tank in there, and they had the black sand. You know, the black sand. And I tell you, what, they like they had the bleeding apple scollies and stuff like that, and they just absolutely popped me. It was like they were popping.
Isn't the black sand magnetic?
Well, I heard that, but I don't know, mate.
I don't know for a fact.
It's supposed to be, yeah. I did hear that myself, to be fair. But
I'm sure it is.
Why would they sell it though if it was magnetic? Why would they retail it as it's okay to go in a reef tank?
Why would they sell corals on a Saturday that came in on a Thursday?
No, but that's totally different. That's irresponsible, mate. This is a company who's selling bags full of sand. You know what I mean? That saying it's all right to go in thing, but it contains metals that can stick to magnets. You know what I mean? But yeah, it does look good. But like you said, you could be right.
I've seen a few videos of people with black sand and their tanks, their glass magnet has literally pulled the sand off the. I've seen it.
No, I've heard that as well for black sand. It does tend to have more metal in it.
Put some in your new tank, Steve. With your tetras.
Oh, I can't do that, mate. No, I'm not. I was saying it looks nice. I'm not saying I'm going to do it.
Hey, it's plastic plants.
Hey, with plastic plants.
Some tetras.
You've let it out now. I told you.
Scuba diver.
Between us, mate.
Yeah, a skull. You've
let it all out. I told you to keep it between us, mate. Now. Yeah, the skull. Yeah, exactly, mate. Exactly. That's the way it's going, mate.
To do a vinyl of Jay on the back for you with his mermaid's tail on OnlyFins.
Yeah, we could do that, mate. We can figure some out. We can do that. Yeah. Oh, mate, it's funny. Anyway, you know what? We've hit that time, and
we've gone.
It's gone so quick. It's gone so quick. If you've not already, click the thumbs up or the like. Do it before you go off here now. I appreciate it. But yeah, once again, guys, I really appreciate you all joining. Tom, as always, Paul, thanks for joining me, mate. I really appreciate it. And yeah, until next week, guys.
Have a good weekend.
Enjoy your weekend and take care. See you soon. See you next